Well guys, we're back at it again, working on the house. Today I was determined to get some work done in our future kitchen, and I really wanted to get started on the hardwood floor. I'm a little bit out of order because the walls should come first, but we have the floorboards, we don't have the wall boards. So why not use what we have so that we can not accumulate more building materials and more expenses. So I was on my way preparing for that when our daughter Belle reminded me that I have to do the ceiling, because it wouldn't make sense to put in a new hardwood floor and then have to finish and paint the ceiling and just make a big mess of things. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm so out of order that I just forgot all about the ceiling work. So today, switching gears, working up on here. So far I went through and I cleaned the ceiling, and now I'm going through and sanding the ceiling. Now I could probably get away with not sanding it, but I decided to sand it just because there are some rough spots and I just want to make sure that the paint sticks as well as it can. We're going to sand the whole ceiling down, and then when I'm done sanding I got to come back through and wipe it down with a wet rag just to get all the dust off. We want this to be as clean and prepared as possible for a good finish. And I'll tell you, ceiling work is always hard for me. I hate working with my arms above my head, but we'll get it done. Now that the ceiling is done and looking good, we have a couple of problems that we need to resolve. One of them is this old hole in the ceiling from the light fixture. Since our kitchen is going to be a little bit different than the original room was, this light fixture doesn't make sense. It's just way out of the way. So we have to patch up that hole in the ceiling, and later on we'll go ahead and cut some new holes where the new lights will be. But for now, let's just do some patching. So I'm just going to try to patch that hole, and I might touch a couple of knot holes over here. Mostly these right here is some pretty big ones. I'll get the big ones. I'm not going to worry about perfection on this project because we found that the old boards look fine painted up even if they have some imperfections. So we're just going to hit the major stuff. And yes, we will be painting the ceiling the same color as the living room, which is a white paint, which we already have on hand. It's like an off-white. I hope I don't have to go in the attic to do this. What I'm trying to do is get blocking to span the opening up here. There's so much insulation and wires in the way that it's a little bit awkward. I'm gonna have to go up in the attic. It'll be easy up there. Okay. Got the patch screwed in. Now I just cut 2 chunks of scrap wood that hopefully will fit and mimic the ceiling pattern. Oh, it's a little snug. Just wanted to show you guys quick that I did get that hole patched up, and I went ahead and did hole filler on all the ceiling. We're going to let this dry. I'll come back and sand it down and try to blend everything in. Then we can get ready to prime and paint. So I'll be back in a while once all this is dry. Well guys, the hole filler dried. I sanded these off. I wiped down the ceiling. We are ready for paint. I think I got all the dust off. Looks good. I think that'll be smooth enough for what we're going for. So I'm going to get the sprayer ready. We'll be spraying the ceiling and hopefully get some primer on here and take it from there. But we're making progress and everything is looking good so far. Alright guys, I'm going to leave you out while I'm spraying so that you guys don't get covered in paint. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'll show you when the ceiling is primed. Well guys, check it out. The paint is dry and we are done. I can't believe that we were able to get the whole ceiling finished today. I only did one coat of primer, one coat of paint, but it looks perfect. That's what I did in the living room and that has been fine, so we're going to stick with it. The finish is beautiful, nice and smooth, came out good. Another job you may have noticed that I've been working on is over here shimming out this wall. You can see all these new studs in here. Well, some of you guys who've been following along closely might remember that our house is leaning a little bit, and it was too late to correct it because we already had our roof finished and a lot of building done. So unfortunately we just have to leave the wall leaning. Well, I want the interior wall to be straight since this will be a kitchen, and I want everything like the countertop to just go against the wall cleanly. I'm shimming the wall out plumb. So the outside of the house will be leaning, but from inside it's going to be a nice straight wall and you won't even know that there's any lean. Except for the wonky window trim. The window jambs will have to be a little bit odd. But again, it's going to be minimal. I don't think it'll be a big deal. So that's what all that is. I'm not quite finished yet, but it's almost done. We also have to reframe this window opening because the window is going to be getting shorter because we will have a countertop down here. So that's actually something else I could work on, is popping that window out and starting to frame up the opening. So maybe I'll do that now. Now I'll just work on getting this framed out for the new opening, and that's the plan. We're going to take it as it comes. Well guys, the window is framed up. From the outside, it doesn't look like much, but that's the window opening. Now remember, we do have siding that we saved. Original siding, it's all underneath the house stored away. So later on, I can get all this patched up under the window and it should be pretty seamless. For now, we're probably going to take a piece of house wrap and staple it over the opening just to keep the weather out. And now I have an exact opening size and I can order my new window. We'll have that coming soon, hopefully. The good news is that the weather is turning slightly cooler than it has been. We've been in this hot streak for a while now. You guys know it's been really warm, and with cooler temperatures, it's going to make working on the house a lot easier. It's going to make stuff like this easier because we don't have to worry about, the window being open and it's hot and all that heat coming in. And also painting. I was able to paint and the paint came out beautiful. Did you look at the ceiling?
Yeah, I didn't see any problems with it.
It was perfect. When you're painting in 90 plus degrees, well, I know I had problems with the shellac, but painting could have the same issue. So I'm glad it's cooling down. But that brings up a question that we've had come up a few times, and that is, how do we deal with the heat? Because you guys see us working. We're in Florida, we have no AC, and you guys think we're crazy. How do you do it? There's a couple parts to this. The first part is that we've never had AC. And if you've never had something, you don't really miss it.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Neither of us had it growing up. We didn't have it in any of our previous homes. That's been how life is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just normal. The way we see it is the summer is hot, and this is summer, and this is what it feels like, and it's just normal to us. I know some people don't tolerate the heat well, but for us, it's just normal summer. It's just called summer. So some people like to complain.
Yeah. They
worry about our children inappropriately, and they think that they're suffering because it's so hot. But you got to realize that this is our family. This is just how we live. And the heat, none of us are dying of the heat.
No.
And now you might say, yeah, but the north is not as hot as Florida. But in fact, the north is hotter than Florida very often. You see, Florida is kind of mild, where it stays consistent. But the north has highs and lows that are very extreme. So during the summer, you can hit easily over 100, and it could be over 100 up north, where we're maybe at 90.
Yeah.
I've
actually seen that a few times this year because I keep track of weird things like that.
So it's not that Florida gets hotter than other places. We just have more warm days. The summer's longer. So you guys have this many days at 90 degrees. We have this many at 90 degrees, but it's still only 90.
Yeah.
And 90 is not that hot to us. In fact, you can't even sleep unless it's 80 degrees in the room.
Yeah. My ideal sleeping temperature is 80.
We're not kidding. Living here, in June, we still had the heat on in our house.
Couple days.
If it's even in the 70s, sometimes you're cold. You're like, I want heat. She likes the room to be 80 degrees, 80 to 85 degrees.
84.
80 to 84 then.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't really care what temperature it is. It doesn't matter to me. And if we do get too hot, we just throw on a fan, and that feels comfortable.
That's perfect. The fan is all we need.
Yeah.
The kids each have a fan in their rooms for when they sleep. And
just keeps the air moving, keeps you from getting sweaty when you're laying there.
Yeah.
And that's it. We are normal people. So how do you say this? Slim?
Yeah.
Right? So that might help us. We don't excessively eat. You'd be surprised how much eating can heat up your body.
Yeah.
During the hot time of year, we don't eat as much. We try to eat smaller meals or colder meals.
I feel like I cannot eat a lot in the summer. I just can't.
It just heats you up too much, and you're not hungry. So that's the other thing. And also, we just don't work out in the sun. We just wait until evening like this, where we can come outside and work on the window and not be sweating.
Yep.
And when we are sweating is what keeps you cool. It's what maintains your body temperature. So I'm just one of these people who can, if I'm covered in sweat, it is what it is. I'll take a shower. It doesn't bother me.
And then we do some tricks in the evening we'll open the windows up to let in the cool air, and then we'll leave it open all night, and then in the morning we'll shut the windows to help keep that hot air out of the house. Mm-hmm. And then just repeat that every day.
Yeah, passive cooling, just...
And then luckily we have a lot of trees back there to block the evening sun. That helps a lot.
Yeah, our house doesn't get overly hot considering that it's in the sun, because we've seen homes that get very hot in the sun, and I feel for you guys. Some homes really collect the heat.
Mm-hmm.
If you got like a west facing wall and you're getting that evening sun beaming on your house, especially two-story homes,
We've had that.
you can get it gets too hot. I get that. Our house doesn't get that hot. We deal with the heat fine, and that's how we're doing it. But with all that said, to answer your questions, yes, we probably will install air conditioning at some point in our home. And right now it's looking like probably mini split units. It's just not been a big priority for us because it's just like I said, we just don't care.
Yeah.
We all deal with it just fine. It's summer. Our biggest issue is humidity. And not because we're sweating, but because we're worried about our home. The
Getting
humidity.
mildewy or moldy. It's more for like the house than us.
Yes, because high humidity breeds mold. We want to maintain our stuff. I have some old books from like the 18 and early 1900s, and I'm worried about those the covers and the binding and all that stuff. You don't want mold. We try to really maintain our house humidity wise, and so far so good. But that's where AC or a drying mode on a mini split would really help, is just keeping the house mold free and low humidity.
Yep.
So that's really what we're looking forward to. So yeah, we probably will install AC someday, but we do enjoy the heat. It doesn't bother us.
That's why we moved down here. We wanted to get away from the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And we're loving it.
But that being said, there might be a day or two where you'll hear us say, wow, it's hot. We're not complaining. It's just human nature. Everybody likes to complain about the heat.
Yeah. I mean, even up north, we complain about, oh, it's hot out today or whatever.
Yeah. It's hard to relate because you can't be inside our bodies, but we're fine. We're fine. We handle it. People have been living without air conditioning for thousands of years, and we're just carrying on the legacy. Some of the few people left. I don't know. I don't know if we're just weird or if we just are adaptable, but we just deal with stuff, but we're not dealing with it suffering. We never really, we do fine with it. I guess that's all we have to say for tonight. I'm going to keep working on the house. Hopefully get to flooring soon. And that's all. We're just moving one step at a time. So thanks for watching. And until next time, take care.
See ya.